here, welcome to A Card Cat Made. I'm not sure if you are anything like me and do a whole bunch of foiling at once and then come back later to turn them into cards. Well, I have been asked if I could share how I go about making cards from the panels that I skip over when it comes time to create. Here I have pulled out some of my very early foiling panels that are either not my favourites or I just haven't known what to do with. So I've challenged myself today to put together some cards with you using elements that I have already made. So all the panels, sentiments and die cuts had to already be made and in my stash. And the only thing that I'm allowed to do is to cut the panels down and cut out some coordinating layers. And what better excuse do I have than using my new Mirrored Arch die set from Spellbinders? So I get to combine my old with some new. Hope you stick around and see what I create. Here I'm just showing you the little imperfections on the cards and why I might not have used it. The first one had a few little spots on it. This one I didn't remove the transfer properly. This one just gets a little bit lost on screen. That was me saying the back ones were from Crafted Critter. This one I printed myself. I love how the original turned out. The reverse has a few imperfections, but I just hadn't ever used it. I love it, but I'd never used it. So I have everything sped up here because, well, I don't want to make you sit here for an hour and watch me die cut bits and pieces. And once you've seen die cutting or done die cutting, you pretty much know what is involved. But if you don't know what I do, this is the little machine that I use to do it. So that's the first one I cut out. I was trying to get that one cut as close to the butterfly as possible. I think I chose the perfect size, but I also have a problem in that I cannot throw away scraps. So these are actually going into my die cut box and I'll use them in the future. I do really like this panel. It just gets a little bit lost with the flowers. It shows up really nicely on screen, but not so much in person. And you can tell here is where I actually forgot that I was filming. Despite the fact there's a camera in front of my face, be in the right spot. Because from this point on, I really don't show you any of the pieces that I've got cut out. Which is why I've got these little bits here slowed down a little bit, just so that you can see what the panel looks like. Because I completely forgot that I was filming and just started creating and having fun and enjoying myself, which really is fantastic because it means I was just doing my thing. But it also means that things took a little bit longer than normal because I was just sitting here happily crafting away while my family was off doing their thing. It was really great actually. I really do like this panel, but I have just avoided using it for about a year now. So I thought, nope, now's the time. I've been asked to make something using things that I've put aside, so what better thing to do than this, especially when it is one that I printed out myself. So I've printed that out on the Crafted Critter 200 GSM DIY paper, and it's fantastic for doing your own printing at home and then being able to foil on. Gives you a fantastic result because these were all done with my, I would actually guess second or third time using my Mink ever. So they really are my learning to foil projects, and I think that's probably why I haven't used them, is because I learned what to do and I've put them in a little plastic sleeve and they've been in my box of to be made. Now I'm just trying to get this even on both of them, and I will just use the other one to line it up properly. I'll be combining those two and mixing and matching. Now just do a quick little clean up and get my dies organised so that I can come back and make some cards with you. Normally I cut this out, but it was actually really satisfying watching the dies pop into place, so I just kept in my super speedy clean up, and there we go. all back and ready to make some cards. And thanks to the magic of editing, here we are. This is a panel that I had pre-embossed with a Spellbinders embossing folder. I had gone to do something on the back of it, didn't like what I was doing, gave it up, used the front of it. And I've just run over those butterflies with a gold pen just to make them pop a little bit. I didn't do the centre of the big one because by that stage I knew that I was going to be putting this over it. I like things going upright, but I could not handle that butterfly not looking like it had movement. So it's going on an angle, even though it was really hard to actually stick it down on an angle. When I do embossing folders and that sort of stuff, I like to use liquid adhesive just because it really helps get into all the nooks and crannies and make sure that it's going to stick properly. I do try and cut out a few bits where I'm just sticking foam dots on because, well, I like you and I don't want you to have to sit there and watch me, and I appreciate you taking the time to watch. I don't want to take it all up with me wrestling with foam squares. I honestly swear that it is so often that the most time consuming part of my videos is me sticking down little foam squares. I always think a little bit of bling's lovely. Card number 1 done. Now tell me, would you have kept the butterfly upright or would you have put it on the angle like I did? I'd love you to tell me in the comments. And look, I remembered my stamp. I'm still getting used to stamping my cards. It's new. I really like it. I have sped this up a little bit again because this card takes a little bit longer than the others do, just because die cut pieces seem to take a little bit longer. I wonder why. No, it's just, I think I just had a little piece of loose paper from when I die cut, so that was just me using my pokey tool just to brush that away. And yeah, this is actually where I've sped it up a little bit more because sticking foam squares on drives me insane and it takes so long. So I do try and either speed it up or cut those bits out just because, oh my goodness, it takes so long. And if I'm bored when I'm editing it, I can't imagine how bored it would be for you to watch. Those little balloons there, I've actually cut out of a toner sheet from Crafty Critter that I've used their clear brittle foil on. And the clear brittle you can use multiple times. Actually, all of their clears, I believe, you can use multiple times. I think I've used them up to 7 times, and they've still been giving me the beautiful refraction on each layer. And I just sometimes do that for die cutting pieces because they make good balloons. Can't think of anything else at the moment. But that sentiment I actually think is a little bit high, and it's driving me slightly insane, which you might see towards the end of the video how insane it actually drives me, or if you think I'm just crazy in general. I'm fine with either. Feel free to tell me. I won't take it personally. I like using a combination of both a tape roller and liquid adhesive. I use liquid adhesive when I can on attaching panels and that sort of stuff, but if it's a foiled panel, I generally use a tape roller because very, very occasionally you'll get a little bit of puckering from liquid adhesive, I find. That's just in my experience. I don't want to say in my opinion, it's because it's in my experience I've found that. So, look, I'm stamping again. I'm getting good at remembering, but I do miss one of them. These little foils I've just done in the past, and I keep them in my little box of pre-done sentiments, but I thought these were perfect for these cards because on the right is the original design I did, and then I put it through on the oh so amazing white toner sheets that Crafty Critter do. I love the white toner sheets. They have to be one of my favourite products ever. And it's so nice to be able to have actual reverse of your original image, because I really like white as the other colour. Is white a colour? I don't know. Isn't it all the colours and black's the absence of colour? I think that's what it is. I don't know. That's just what I was taught in art at school. One of those panels, those middle sections, I actually stuck on upside down. Please tell me if you can see which one it is, because I'd love to know if it's actually noticeable without the card in front of you looking at it closely. But have I made a mistake? Absolutely. Do I care? Not in the slightest. Because that's what homemade cards is all about. Just because I made a mistake doesn't mean that there was any less love that went into making the card. So I'm really happy with how those come out, if I do say so myself. I love using the positive and the reverse in cards. I just love the effect it gives. So that's my 5 cards. Please tell me which one you like the best. And here's where things might get a little bit crazy. You can see that refraction there. But here, please, tell me if you think I'm insane. I'd love to know if you would have left it, or if you do the same as what I did. But I just could not handle that sentiment placement, so I pulled them up, and that's just a little piece of an alcohol wipe. So it's got isopropyl alcohol on it, and I'm just wiping off the excess adhesive, and then I got a microfiber cloth to wipe that down and put new foam squares on there after peeling all the other ones off. But I didn't even get a new sentiment. I just peeled all the stuff off the other one and stuck it down again. But I think it just looks so much better, just that little bit lower, so that the balloons don't look so crowded. Tell me if you agree or not. I'd love to know. So that's the 5 cards I've made out of the panels. Let me know what you think, and thank you so much for joining me today. See you next time. Bye.